Hi, this is Peter from Magnetic Speaking, and if you struggle or get overwhelmed whenever you have to create a presentation or a speech, then maybe you're doing it the wrong way. In this video, I want to share with you a simple process to think about your presentation, how to lay it out, how to structure it, so you can create presentations with ease. The first step is to think about your audience, where they're at and where you want them to be. Where they're at is usually at an unknowing state. Maybe they don't know you. Maybe they don't know the topic. Maybe they don't know what the heck you want them to do at the end. And it's your job through your content to take them from here, the not knowing state, to the action state. This is the pinnacle of influence at organizations. When you get people to take action at the end of your presentations, that's when you succeed as a leader in a corporate setting. So how do you get them from here to here? That's through your content. So you want to be thinking about, how do I structure my presentation that takes people there? The first thing you want to do is think about the intro. We call it the intro bucket. And the last thing you want to think about is the closing bucket. So in the intro bucket, you want to set up the frame, you want to set up the context, you want to tell them why they're there, and you want to give them the agenda that's going to drive the day. In the conclusion bucket or the closing bucket, you want to summarize everything you talked about, and you want to give them the action steps forward. That generates the action. So now that we know the beginning and the end, we have to think about what goes in the middle. In the middle, typically, you have multiple buckets. Sometimes one bucket, sometimes two buckets, sometimes three, sometimes four. I really don't recommend going over four because that gets overwhelming. It gets overwhelming for you to create the content. It also gets overwhelming to the audience in terms of digesting the content. So what goes into these buckets? That depends on your presentation. If you're doing an update presentation, maybe you do background in the first bucket. You give them background on the project. Second bucket, you give them status update on the project. On the final bucket, you give them going forward on that project. What are the next steps on that project? If you're doing a proposal, maybe you give them challenges that your organization or department are having. Second, you give them solutions. Survey of solutions that you've done in the marketplace. And in the last bucket, you give them recommendations. What do you recommend to solve these challenges? Make sense? Notice that we've broken down a big, gigantic presentation into smaller, manageable buckets. And that's the way you create presentations in a corporate environment that takes people from here, which is a not knowing state, to an action state.
Looking for